Welcome to Mark Who 42 here. Oh God, it's been forever. It's been a whole 2 weeks since we've talked to you, and we're back. Except I'm Mark Baumgarten and I'm here alone right now with Zion Kiros. Hey Zion, how's it going?
Good. We are putting the 2 in Mark Who 42 today.
There you go, the 2 in Mark Who 42. I like that. A little later we're going to have Eric Douthitt and Eduardo M. Freyre, wonder who he is, talk about their comic that they do called The Seer. And you'll learn all about that and Rising Sun's publication. So it's a comic show we have today. Isn't that interesting? Zion, in honor of it being a comic show, I have made an executive decision.
All right, go ahead.
You know how all those wonderful people at DC and Marvel, whenever they feel like it, they change the numbering of their comics?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? What do you think about those companies changing the numbers of their comics?
It's annoying, but I understand why they do it sometimes.
Well, why did they do it?
Just because people feel like some of the comics are inaccessible and whatnot. Like you see Amazing Spider-Man number 655, and you're someone who just saw like their first Spider-Man movie. It's kind of hard to just jump in and start reading Spider-Man.
So they go to number 1. But what do you think about it when then after they go to one, they're at issue 49 or something, and they go, hey, you know what? If we had kept a number going, we'd be at like 700 now. I think we're going to change it back to 700. Do you know that?
The cash grab? The girl cash grab?
What do you think about that? What do you think about that when they change it back?
This is really annoying.
Well, guess what? We're going to be really annoying to everyone out there who listens to Mark Who 42, because we made ourselves accessible to all the new listeners with an episode 0 and then an episode 1 of this new show that is really the same show coming back from hiatus. So this is episode 224, Zion.
Yes.
So we're back to our old numbering system. We're at episode 224. Welcome to all of you out there at Mark Who 42. Looking for episode 7. You're not going to find it. If you want episode 7, go to YouTube to the Mark Who 42's channel and listen to that episode from 7 years ago. We are episode 224. I got that out. Boy, that was hard.
Once we do it in like a random numbering, it's fine. But like once like people realize, oh, we're like near like number 500, and we could probably get some money off of that.
There's another reason, because I'm trying to get more listeners, and a lot of people, they see, episode 7 of a podcast. I'm not going to try this. But when when they see that the show's been on for 224 episodes, they go, wow, they've been around a while. I'm going to listen to them.
True.
So that's what we've done here at Mark Who 42.
And we have been around for a while.
We've been around for 7 years. Yeah, 6-7 years. Okay, so since it's just the two of us, we're going to have a quiet news show. A quiet newscast. And you know what? I'm going to do the thing I've never done before. I'm going to give the Mark Who 42 news.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. And it was a big week for Doctor Who news. It looks like 2 missing episodes of Doctor Who have probably been found. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, but we may never see them. And that breaks my heart. It probably breaks your heart. Probably breaks everyone's heart. Paul Vanezis, a member of the Doctor Who restoration team, says that he knows someone with 2 film cans in his possession, but that he won't share them. He hasn't actually seen the films, but he believes the unnamed collector who says he has them that they're Doctor Who episodes. Now, he's got a lot of film cans, but he's not sharing. The BBC would only take a copy and then return the cans of film to this collector, so that there's no reason why he won't just give them to the BBC.
Okay, so he's just being stingy.
Yeah, but it's not fair. We don't know what 2 episodes they are, but it would be great to see them. But we can take something good about this. There are still missing episodes waiting to be found, and maybe these people who have these episodes won't be such a boop about it and share.
Exactly.
And speaking about missing episodes, Peter Purves, who played Stephen Taylor opposite William Hartnell's First Doctor, has revealed that he was part of a remake of the episode Mission to the Unknown by the students at the University College of Lancashire.
Oh, wow.
Shooting the episode was done over 3 days. Purves is joined by Nick Briggs as the Daleks, and Edward D'Souza, who played Space Security Agent Mark Corey in the original 1965 story. Mission to the Unknown is a one-part prelude to the Daleks' master plan, and is the only episode that does not feature the Doctor or any of his companions, making this a good fit for a remake. What do you think?
That is a good fit for a remake.
You don't need William Hartnell for it. You don't need any of the companions in this, and so you don't need substitutes. So it is perfect. Only the soundtrack survives, and they are releasing the soundtrack next month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Purves wrote on Twitter, "It is hoped that the BBC will release it on DVD. It is being made as authentically as possible." So I really hope that we get to see this, because, I've seen pictures of the sets and stuff. They did a great job. I think this would make a great one-shot DVD.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see this. Are there any episodes like this where there's no companions or no Doctor?
No. This is the only one. It was a prelude right before the Mythmakers, and then the Dalek Master Plan came on. So there was it was just to give them a vacation for a week. And Terry Nation, I think, wrote this and as a prelude to the Daleks Master Plan. And you get to actually go back to the planet it takes place on in the middle of the Daleks Master Plan. So it all ties together. And it should be really cool. Finally, in Doctor Who news, Stephen Fry. You know who he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the best comedian actors in the United Kingdom, was seen in the vicinity of the filming of Series 12 of Doctor Who. And it looks like he may be appearing alongside Jodie Whittaker next year. We can only hope. So, yeah, I would love to see Stephen Fry in Doctor Who.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. I watch him on QI. I've seen him on a bit of Fry and Laurie with Hugh Laurie. He used to be a comedy team with Hugh Laurie, who, of course, went on to become House in America. And Stephen Fry is a really cool guy. He was the host of the BAFTA Awards for many years, and he's just a great guy. He's a very smart comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go away from Doctor Who a little, because, Mark Who 42 is a Doctor Who show, but we also are other genres. In the world of comics, two of DC's most talked about series, Batman Damned and Doomsday Clock, have delayed upcoming issues. They're delaying them?
I feel like it is intentional to just stretch it out as long as possible. But, this has been going on since, November of 2016. And it's only, 8 issues so far, so it's very, very slow, and it's finally getting to the point where Superman is about to fight Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, in Doomsday Clock, yeah.
And, it's just, ugh.
Well, Batman Damned is the last issue of the first ever DC Black Label comic, has been delayed until March 27th, so that's only a month away. And Doomsday Clock number 9, and this is a 12-part story, has been delayed until, not long really either, March 6th. But, they're delaying a lot of stories, and it's really not fair. Doomsday Clock is a very involved story, and they didn't think that the bi-monthly schedule was favorable for this title, said Jeff Watkins of Cloud City Comics and Toys in upstate New York. But our numbers have not decreased. We are still selling out, reordering, and still selling out of reorders. So the comics are doing great in sales, but they're not being fair to the fans, I don't think.
Exactly. they know that I'm going to buy it regardless.
Yeah.
So it's just not fair. Just if it's already ready to go out, just let it out.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, yeah, this comic is, there's other worlds in the Hooniverse, and that includes Star Wars. And in Star Wars news, J.J. Abrams just wrapped production of Star Wars Episode 9 and was asked at a charity event a couple of questions about the movie, and even though he declined to give any bits about the film, he did give a little bit about working with Billy D. Williams. I forgot Billy D. Williams is back in Star Wars. Lando Calrissian is back. He said, I've met him once before and he was such a sweet guy, but I've got to tell you, I have such unbelievable respect for him, Abrams said. We had a great time and he was wonderful. Everyone on set, he just had this aura around him. He's really an incredible man and an incredible actor. Abrams was also asked, how does he want people to feel at the end of this trilogy? And he replied, there are lots of words that we all hope you feel. And obviously, the biggest one is satisfied. Star Wars Episode 9 comes out December 20th, 2019. So at the end of the year. Okay, now let's talk Star Wars now since I brought it up. Is this last trilogy? Well, actually, it's not last trilogy because Disney has already said they're going to make more trilogies. But this last 7 through 9, what is your feelings about it, Zion?
I really don't like them.
Thank you.
Really don't like them.
So if Abrams is saying that, he wants us to feel satisfied, this better be the best film in the universe because he has to make up for his 7, 8, which he didn't do. But yeah, I was not satisfied with the last. But I also wasn't satisfied with 1 through 3. I've only been satisfied with 4 through 6.
The only Star Wars movies that I'm satisfied are 4 through 6 and 3. That's it. And this trilogy
Oh, you know what? I will give you 3. I will give you 3. 3 was actually pretty good. I did like 3. I
love
3.
3.
Yeah.
But like this trilogy is weird because when 7 came out, I was very dissatisfied, and then I saw 8, and 8, at least in my opinion, was bad enough where 7 started to look good. And
I don't know. I mean, you know what? Because like 8 had Luke Skywalker in it. 8 had Luke Skywalker in it, and except for the part where he went in to kill, and I forgot the character's name. It's
Kylo?
Yeah. He went in directly to kill him, which broke character of Luke Skywalker. I actually liked the Luke Skywalker story. Yeah, I like Mark Hamill. As the Joker, he's great, and I thought in the original trilogy he was great. So I was glad to have him back in 8, but that Kylo killing thing, it just had to go. That was a mistake they made, and that's what ruined the film for me.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's honestly the biggest gripe I have about this film.
Yeah.
Because I think about it, right, and I watched Episode 8 like 3 times.
Right.
And each time I watched it, I liked it less and less and less, and I wondered why. So I dropped it for a while, and then sometime along the roads, I watched Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. And I don't like half of that movie at all. But when
the Ewoks, okay, you're talking about the Ewoks.
Yes. No,
yeah, the Ewoks,
from that point on,
we could wipe them
awful.
away. We could wipe them away.
But like, so when Luke is talking to Obi-Wan, and he says that I can't kill my father, they're still good in him. Me thinking about Vader like he's Space Hitler. I'm like, okay, that he clearly cares about his father and his family and his friends and whatnot. This is a very important piece to Luke.
Yes.
Now you fast forward to Episode 8. He's about to kill his freaking nephew. And the exact next meeting after this pivotal moment, first thing the nephew asks is, are you here to say sorry? And Luke says, nope. I'm like, wait a second.
That's wrong. To have faith in Darth Vader, but not have faith in Kylo. And yes, Kylo was evil. He killed his father. But yeah, it just I didn't like the Kylo Ren story at all. I did like Han Solo in Episode 7. I thought Han and Chewie and Princess Leia were the most believable characters in their parts because they knew their parts inside and out from
Indeed.
back in the 70s. So I was just disappointed with the rest of the characters in film.
Also, another thing about Kylo is that he's not meant to be written as a villain, but like they clearly try to make him threatening and whatnot.
You don't think he was written as a villain?
I don't think they're trying to write him as a villain because
Well, it doesn't matter anymore. He's dead. Spoiler alert.
It's like a villain is supposed to be threatening and menacing and is supposed to cause unease to the watcher, right? What besides that one scene at the beginning of 7 gives you unease to Kylo? Absolutely nothing. So I don't think he's actually being written as a villain.
And that's another thing. Okay, so let's say he's not written as a villain. He's written as misunderstood. Mm-hmm. And Luke takes a villain like Darth Vader, and because it's his father, he figures, he's just misunderstood, and he helps him. And he tries his best. He doesn't want to kill him. And then you've got this other character who's the son of his best friend, and he's just misunderstood, and let's kill him. It did not make sense. So I hope J.J. Abrams can take Episode 9. Do we even have a title yet? Do we know what the title is? No, we don't have a title. Not yet. It's less than a year away. We don't have a title.
They're doing this on purpose, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. So I hope that J.J. Abrams is right. I will go see this movie just because it's Star Wars and give him money, and I don't know why I do that, but I will. And let's hope that he's right. Because if I'm not satisfied, I am writing J.J. Abrams for my money back.
Last question. Do you think they're going to kill Lando?
Do I think they're going to kill Lando?
I think so.
Why? You don't have to kill... First of all, I have a feeling Leia, because they do have Leia in some unused footage and some CGI for Carrie Fisher, and she's probably going to be dead in this film. They're going to kill her because they, where is it going to go from here? Right. But Lando, he could go from here. I would like to see some Lando as an elderly scoundrel going and taking on the universe. I would love to see future films like that, So I hope they don't kill him. I think Lando was a great character. And may I say, the only... did you see the Saturday Night Live sketch they did where it was on this year where Lando was throwing a party for all the black members of the universe, of the Star Wars universe. And there were like 3 people in the audience.
Right.
You can't kill Lando. That is you can't do that. But, I don't think they should do that. I think we can't do that.
Personally, I think they're pushing for the out with the old and in with the new.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, but I don't think you have to kill Lando. And I would love to see future Lando film with Billy D. Williams as Lando, not as with whoever they got for Solo. I want to see future Lando movies, not past Lando movies. Right. And maybe we should start a petition to get that to happen.
Maybe.
And maybe he'll drink some Colt 45. Hey, I love those commercials. I'm sorry. I'm from the age when those commercials were on the air, and Billy D. Williams did them perfectly. Okay. Well, that's about all the time we have for the news. And boy, it really got newsy at the end, didn't it? We're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to have, this guy, Eduardo M. Freyre. Where the heck do I know him from? And Eric Douthitt, who are the creators and writers and artists of the new comic book called The Seer from Rising Sun Publishing. And it is, I like the comic. I've read the first 3 issues. Issue 4 is coming out in April. And we're going to talk to them about the book and independent publishing. So, Zion, thanks for coming on for the news. I'm glad that it wasn't just me this week.
Anytime.
And we'll be right back.
Odyssey.
My God, it's full of stars.
Welcome back to Mark Who 42. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and we've got a treat for you. We've got, well, you know, I've always liked comics. I've read comic books since I was a kid. I was a big Superman fan and stuff. But now there's a comic that's come out from Rising Sun Comics called The Seer. And The Seer is from the mind and creator of Eric Douthitt. And one of the writers is actually our own Eduardo M. Freyre. So let me bring on Eric and Eduardo. Hello, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
And Eric, you're the artist too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Now, The Seer is not, you know, like I said, I'm a superhero comic guy. But is this a superhero? Is the Seer? Because Kara could be... Kara's the main character, by the way. Kara could be seen as a superhero, even though it's not a superhero comic.
It's more of a superhero sci-fi type of thing.
Well, that's my cup of tea. So, Eric, before we get into the comic itself, Rising Sun Comics, this is an independent comic, and I remember while working at a comic book store in the 80s, the rise of the independent comic. We had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Boris the Bear, Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt, Hamsters or something like that. We had all these really weird comics. And how is the independent comic business doing? Is Rising Sun Comics your own, or how did you get involved with them?
Rising Sun, I actually got in through a book called Cobra the Enemy. I had sent them submissions, and they hired me to start in on issue 17 on that book. And I did, 17, 18, and 19. And then I did 45, 46, and 47, and 48.
Wow.
And did a little bit of inking in between.
Okay.
And I've been kind of working on the Seer independently from that under my studio, Douthitt Press. And that got added into the Rising Sun. I guess you could call it.
It's an LLC. It's an LLC. It's an LLC. It's a limited liability corporation. How did you start that?
I started it years ago. I just never really got into it until I started doing the Seer and a couple of other titles.
Now, I got to ask you, where'd you meet this Ed guy? Because this Ed guy's a little suspicious. I don't know about him.
He was introduced to me in Skype, I believe.
Oh, on Skype?
When he was hired to write the Seer.
Cool. Now, Ed.
Yes.
Are you the storyteller, or do you just write the dialogue? How do you and Eric work on this?
Yeah, I'm the storyteller. Well, when I got brought in, there were a couple of stories like already kind of in play. So, you know, they had me come in to write a chapter or two. And then, they were like, okay, we got to get this thing started. You know, do you want to do like the entire story for issue 1? You know, give our character an origin. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So, you know, I did a script for issue 1, gave her origin, and so basically, I mean, it's not just me writing dialogue. I've done like the entire thing. You know, I'm the one who writes out the story, does the script, you know, puts in the dialogue, you know, so yeah.
But it's based on characters created by Eric.
Yeah. Although I have had the good fortune of adding to the universe. There are a few characters in there that came from my head that we kind of mixed in.
How about Mike Lee? You come up with Mike Lee?
Mike Lee, I came up with him. He was kind of my way of paying, you know, it's like you've always had these stories where you have like, you know, the wise old mentor figure. And I'm just like, okay, let's play a little with that. You know, I thought, okay, let's make him a young Asian guy. He's studying to be a priest. You know, he's not into the tropes. Like, you know, the sword that Kara uses is a family heirloom. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to use it. It's better in your hands than mine.
I was reading issue 1. Well, I read the first 3 issues because those are what out. Right. But I read issue 1, and Mike Lee kind of figures out that she's special after like a second. I mean, what kind of traits does Mike have? How does he do this?
Well, number 1, if you remember from issue 1 and 2, he's friends with Carl Bathison, who's a monster hunter. So he's already, by the time he meets Kara, he's already been exposed to the fact that there is, you know, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say, a much wider world out there. And also Kara, I mean, it's a little tough to tell from the black and white interior pages.
I was going to say this. Go for it.
Yeah. If you look at the cover to issue 1, she initially does not look that human. You know, she's got the kind of purplish skin and, you know, in her eyes. So
in the black and white comic, when you're reading it, and he even makes a comment, you know, about the hue of her skin, you don't get that. But you're right, on the cover, you do get that.
Yeah, so I mean, the minute he sees her, he's like, okay, I can tell she's not from this neighborhood. So it's all about, you know, he's seen this kind of stuff before. He's run into other stuff that's not Kansas, and that's kind of the other thing. You know, he's a bit more accepting than I think others would be about just all the weirdness that's out there. And so, you know, that kind of makes him a great asset for Kara, because he ends up being sort of her guide to, like, being on Earth.
Now, I want people to buy these comics for. I do want people to buy it, but let's go into issue 1 a little. Tell about the backstory of Kara. She's an alien princess trapped on Earth fighting monsters. But why is she on Earth? What is going on? Tell everyone.
Well, she's on Earth because, I mean, that's where her escape pod kind of ended up making landfall.
Why is she on an escape pod? What's the backstory?
Well, I don't want to give away too much.
I know you don't want to give too much
because, you know, come on,
it's been 3 months, so, you know, a lot of people.
Yeah. Although, hey, remember, you know, this isn't a Marvel comic, so
yeah.
You know, you know, they do have to make a little bit more of an effort to grab an issue. But yeah, basically her world is under threat. You know, when she left her home world, it was getting pounded. You know, it was under assault. So, you know, her mom kind of shoved her into an escape pod and was like, "Go, get out of here." So, you know, and it flew through space until it landed on Earth.
So she lands on Earth and she runs into a bunch of strippers. Are they strippers or waitresses? Because I was confused.
Strippers.
I was very confused on that subject.
They're not strippers. One of them is a waitress.
Okay. The others?
The other 2 are just friends. You know, it's just a pair of friends hanging out. They ran into Kara, and being that she, you know, just had a rough day, so to speak, there was a few misunderstandings, some, you know, harsh wording, and yeah, they pretty much.
I don't know why I went to strippers then, because I was reading and then their attitudes. I was just you know, it's kind of stereotypical. I don't know. I guess it's my mind.
Well, if you had seen the club, you know.
If I saw the club, well, we do see the club. We do see the club in issue 2.
Yeah, well, in issue 3, yeah, we get issue 2 and issue 3. We see the club. Right. Well, it's not a strip club. It's kind of more of a dance club, but
okay. So it's a dance club. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and the owner, you know, she does kind of like, okay, you know, the guys will be guys, you know, just as long as they behave themselves, you know. So, yeah, it would be a lot of how should I put it? The club would be very look, don't touch.
Okay,
you know?
and of course the bar owner is Angela Ford.
Which, by the way, she's actually the names of all the characters, I named them after people I know.
So when's Mark Baumgarten going to show up in this comic? I'm waiting.
I don't know.
I'm waiting.
I don't know. You know, I'll see what I can do, but like, for example, I don't know anybody with the last name Lee, but I've known a few Mikes in my time, so that's gotcha. You know, and we'll
put a Mark in there. Mark has to be in there somewhere.
Okay, well, I'll see what I can do. I do know that Angela Ford is actually. I have a couple of friends named Angela, and then
and Ford was named after a Ford prefect. Yes, we got it.
No.
Okay.
That's actually the last name. That's the last name of 2 of our best friends. Trish and I, it's like best friends.
Okay.
And then the server girl, the one who's wearing the outfit that
Kat Delgado.
Kat, yeah. Kat, well, Delgado, that's...
I know where Delgado came from. You don't have to tell us at Marku 42.
Actually, no.
No, it's not Roger Delgado?
It's not Roger Delgado. My cousins have the last name Delgado.
Oh, okay. So you're tricking me everywhere. You're playing with my emotions.
I have a friend. Back in Florida who is a model actress, and her name is Kat. So that's after her. And then her friend, one of the friends that kind of comes to her defense, Sid, is actually named after my niece.
So who's the Canador named after? And tell us a little about the Canador.
that's just a creature name I made up on the fly. I'm just like, well, we need to give this little alien a name. How about Canador? But yeah, the Canador, it's... Well, I don't know, when we were thinking up, when we were tossing around ideas for issue 1, I really wanted, it's like, well, first of all, the beginning is very Superman-esque.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, very Superman-esque. We in fact, Eric, didn't we call it the Superman story?
Yeah, kind of.
We're like, this is our Superman origin issue.
DC Comics, please do not sue Rising Sun Comics for this.
No. Yeah, I don't...
But honestly, we're not the only one that thinks of that.
Yeah, exactly. We're honoring the trope here, okay? The first part of issue 1 is like Superman origin. The Canador thing, we did want Kara to have like a battle on getting to Earth. We wanted some sort of conflict. What I kind of thought is I would love to do something kind of Terminator-esque. And so, yeah, there was a while there where I was going to be like, maybe we somehow end up with a bar or something. But then kind of morphed, and then we got what we ended up with, which was, just being outside, like on the street. But similar idea where, we have a big, strong alien, and he just goes and just rips people to shreds. And in a couple of places, literally.
By the way, this is Mark Baumgarten here on Marku 42. I'm interviewing Eric Douthitt and Eduardo M. Freyre about The Seer, a comic that's coming. Issue 4 is coming up from Rising Sun Comics.
Ooh, yeah. Issue 4, we're 3 issues in, and I just got to say, issue 4, that is, it's a comic book cliche of saying, you'll not want to miss this because, everything changes. But in this case, it is literal. It's after issue 4, things are not going to be the same.
All right.
Believe me.
Eric.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little about Eduardo aside. You have 2 other writers, Hawk Graves and John Helmer, who Hawk Graves writes the second half of issue 2 and John Helmer writes issue 3. And we go in the Walking Dead country.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully no lawsuits there either. Were these some of the stories that you had before you brought Eduardo on?
Issue 3 actually was issue 1.
Oh.
Originally. And then we just added the first 2 issues after I'd already gotten the 3rd issue done. And then we just continued on from issue 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In fact, 8 is still waiting to be penciled.
Oh. And is Eduardo the writer, the sole writer of 4 through 8?
Well, 8, there's a 16-pager that someone else is writing, but pretty much no. Wow. And I wrote... Yeah, there was one story that I actually wrote that was a werewolf kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's in issue 7, I believe.
Okay. So the comics actually sometimes have more than one story in it, and that's kind of cool. We go back to Tales of Suspense back in the 60s when there were the 2 different comics. But they all star Kara. And by the way, Kara, Supergirl, again, DC Comics, be careful.
Yeah, I don't see any problems.
I don't either.
It's not, hey, it's, for one thing, Kara doesn't have the last name Danvers.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that. Maybe the entire... Do we know the name of the planet? What was the name of the planet that she was from?
Venelucia.
Yeah.
Not Danvers. Okay, then we're safe. Safe.
No,
all right.
No, we're fine.
And Kara Danvers' Supergirl doesn't wear black vinyl spandex.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't we wish she did?
No.
Well, if you had the strippers, would have worked.
Depending on which Supergirl we're talking about, I don't think we.
That's true. There was a Supergirl in the series that she kind of wore black throughout the whole episode.
Yeah. Well, no, that's and hopefully this is not a spoiler. The Russians are creating their own Supergirl, and she's in black vinyl jumpsuit.
Nice.
Yeah. So maybe you could sue them.
No, I don't think so. Well, Supergirl. There was a bit like in the early to mid 2000s where Supergirl did have a black outfit.
Yeah,
that's right. She had with Darkseid.
You're thinking Mary Marvel. Mary Marvel had a black outfit when she was corrupted by Darkseid, but there was a bit with Supergirl where she she had a black version of her outfit. So,
Okay.
but that in the case of Supergirl, it wasn't a dark side thing. And in the case of our Kara, which her last name, if you learn, is Saragossa. So yeah.
This is why Ed is the comic
He's
guy
Italian.
on Mark Root 42. He's totally
So Eric, you just revealed the secret of Kara is she's space Italian. Okay.
space
Right.
Italian.
Italian. You know?
That's good. The Seer. So without giving too much away, where does issue 4 take us? I know you said it takes us to somewhere that's going to change everything, but can you give us a little taste of what's going to cause the change?
Well, we wrap up.
That's why I have Eric on the show, so he can censor you in case you go too far, Eric Eduardo.
Oh no, I if anything, I might have to censor him. We'll censor each other.
There you go.
And on a family show.
It really does not sound good. I mean,
Yeah. But yeah, issue 4. Well, I will say that it does complete the story that started in issue 2.
Mm-hmm.
We do get the completion of that, but it also kind of there are going to be secrets revealed, and yeah, Kara is it's going to affect Kara. It's going to have a big effect on Kara.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I can tell you that there's a new person that's going to be introduced. And,
Okay.
we're going to have a new person that's going to be introduced. And, that, if you want to know more about that person, that's going to come in issue 5. There's going to be a very important story that will really kind of introduce this person in issue 5. And they... without getting more into it, the future of the Seer revolves around this person.
Okay. Want to just bring us back to Eric. You are the artist on this this endeavor.
Yes.
What kind of training have you had?
I actually am self-taught.
Okay.
I started very, very young. I've been drawing since I was probably 10. I'm 55 now, so it's...
Hey, not too bad. I'm close. I'm close there. Yeah, Ed's the baby
but
here.
I've been interested in comics for as long as I can remember. I've actually been doing comics for about 10 years.
Wow.
I started with a book called A Time of Heroes, which I am actually redoing.
Right.
And I did a few books by Heritage Comics called The American Sentinels. I did 7 issues of it.
Oh.
6 of it are actually published.
So we got one left.
Yeah, he's saving that for when he can pay me.
Oh, there you go.
And been doing a lot of stories for Lucky Comics, aka Red Leaf. Even though Red Leaf is no longer, Lucky Comics kind of took over, and I've been doing a lot of stuff with them, and just kind of spread myself around.
Okay, and who would you say your artwork is most influenced by?
It's a combination of John Buscema,
Ooh.
Frank Frazetta, a little bit of Boris, Leo, and a lot of people think that George Perez is a influence, which I feel honored to say that, but he came into the game much later than the rest of them. Oh, and Neil Adams, got to throw him in there.
Yeah, got to throw Neil Adams a bone, yeah. Okay, yeah. No,
And just an array of artists over the years.
Yeah. This comic, can you order it on previews? Can you get it at a comic store, or do you have to pretty much do a online mail order?
The best way is go on to Rising Sun's site, from what I can tell. I'm not sure about the stores and stuff like that, but I do know you can get it through Rising Sun Comics and the publishing.
And what's the URL for that for our fans?
I can give that to you right now if you want to find it. So www.risingsunpublishinggroup, all one word, .com/store. And then scroll down till you find the Seer.
All right.
Yep.
Well, it's been great having you both on our show. And Eduardo, even though you're on the show all the time, it's great having you here. Not as a co-host, but as a guest. And, of course, Eric Douthitt.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
And you know what? The green room was very well stocked. The fruit plate was very nice.
Usually you don't get the green room. Usually you don't get the green room.
Usually it's like usually you just give us like day-old bagels and day-old bagels and some bottled water. But this time,
Hey, I got the bottled water.
Hey, but, but you know what? But this time, Mark, we got to see what the guests get. We got we had the fruit plate and some nice orange juice. I appreciate that it was pulp free, and somebody came by with an omelet station, which I was surprised. You told me there was no omelet station. You lied.
Well, I did lie. You're not supposed to know about these things, but now you do. Now you do.
So you know what? I think you're probably going to have to give omelets to all of us. You're going to have to give the host some
when we record next week, maybe I'll put the omelet tray out.
Put the omelet tray out, yeah. And hey, they said they did have feta cheese, okay? So that damn well better be there.
All right, it will be.
Better be some feta.
Okay. So, folks, I want to say on behalf of myself and Zion Quiros and Patricia Freyre and Iggy Matthews, I'd like to say adieu to all of you out there. Oh, see, I'm rhymed. Isn't it about time? So, allons-y. You'll hear us next time here on Mark Who 42. And remember, next week, March 4th, 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be on ODYSY, pronounced Odyssey Radio, with a new show for you to hear. And we are very happy to be on Odyssey Radio. So until next time, so long, everyone, and thanks again, Eric and Eduardo.
It was a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Life, the Hooniverse, and Everything with Mark Who 42 was written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Trish Freyre, Iggy Matthews, and Zion Quiros. The Mark Who 42 podcast you were listening to was edited, directed, and produced by Mark Baumgarten. Theme music by Sam Beckwith. Mark Who 42 is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten 2019.